Hello and welcome everyone, my name is The Clever Fool. Today we'll be playing the first episode of the Three Kingdoms campaign. There's a new difficulty involved here called the Legendary difficulty. You can see we have the Legendary icon already because I did beat the first mission just to try it out and see how different Legendary was. This will likely be a post-commentary while I talk about how I feel about the DLC as well as how to beat this mission. There is an achievement we're going for as well, so let's go ahead and get started here. Oops. Whoopsies. Let's click the play button.
As they hacked away at the Han Dynasty's fragile foundations, the Yellow Turbans tore China apart. However, even among the common folk, the Turbans had many opponents. Many saw their revolt as an affront to the mandate of heaven, which only increased the people's suffering. Liu Bei was one such man. A distant relative of the Han Emperor, Liu Bei was a sandal maker whose sheer charisma made up for his lack of wealth. To some, his unusual height and long ears were signs that he was meant for great things. Yet, when an imperial decree to rally warriors against the Turbans was posted in his village, he felt hopeless. For what could a lowly sandal maker do to save an empire? His spirit soared when he spoke with two other men intent on enlisting. Zhang Fei, a boulder of a man with a temper as easily lit as a dried-out wheat field, and Guan Yu, a majestic bearded warrior. Even though they had never met before, Liu Bei felt he had found two long-lost comrades. They made offerings to the heavens in a peach garden, swearing to become brothers and to fight for the restoration of the Han. We do not ask to be born on the same day, but we ask to die on the same day. With Liu Bei at the lead, the three sworn brothers set out to crush the Yellow Turban rebels.
Alright, so our main objectives here, excuse me, are to wait for instructions. Our hints tell us that we're limited to the Castle Age and cannot yet build castles, warships, or war chariots. Initially, we are restricted to a pop limit of 100, but liberating occupied villages will allow us to support a larger population. Liu Bei is a terrific leader and fighter. His ancient winding Jian blades are powerful weapons, while his passive ability, Protector of the People, heals all nearby units. Guan Yu is an expert warrior whose Green Dragon Strike ability causes his Crescent Moon Blade to deal immense area damage whenever activated. Zhang Fei is an intimidating figure who slows down enemies with his Taunt ability. His steel-tempered Serpent Halberd strikes with deadly force. The Shu civilization generates a slow trickle of food while chopping wood and can cheaply upgrade its ranged soldiers. The Hall of Heroes is a campaign-only building that costs 2 wood. It trains hero units and retrains fallen ones that you recruit throughout the campaign. Your scouts report that Liu Bei in green begins with only his sworn brothers Zhang Fei and Guan Yu. The three must raise a following to save their homeland and impress the local magistrates. The Han Dynasty in red is too weak to actively fight, but Liu Bei can use its units and buildings to fight the rebels. The Yellow Turbans in yellow have 2 hideouts south of the river. They will raid you with infantry, ranged soldiers, and scout cavalry. Lastly, groups of lightly armed Yellow Turban guards in orange scattered across the countryside protect what the rebels have captured. We have a new decisions tab that we will use to keep track, and I think between every mission we'll be able to check our past decisions. I'll review them in the intro as we play along.
The Yellow Turbans made many enemies of the commoners in this area. We should recruit some of them to fight the rebels.
This building is the Hall of Heroes. Any hero who dies in battle or joins your forces will become available at this building, which your villagers can construct. Every hero has a passive ability, active ability, or both. Passive abilities apply at all times. Active abilities you need to activate.
如何不影响血气同心？二弟贼，上报国家里走单骑。
Try out your hero's abilities on those Yellow Turban bandits up ahead.
流前行脚，流后行脚，小字名家自去也。协力同心，人人张飞。三弟。 以德为本，
Of course, the achievement is also very easy to get. All you have to do is use one of the abilities of the heroes, I think, the active abilities. And you pretty much have to do that in order to beat this level on legendary difficulty. So you'll unlock the achievement by accident, even if you didn't know about it, really. As an active ability here to do massive cleave damage to our boy Guan Yu. Okay, so after we clean these guys up, we're going to pick one of two armies, either a ranged army or a melee army. The ranged army is in the northeast, skirms and archers. Melee army is bottom left with white feathers and spearmen, I think.
Your confidence inspires these men, brothers. With you at the helm, short work for the rebels.
It gladdens me to see the people rise up against the rebels. I am Governor Tao Chen. I will provide you with a base to operate from.
I opted for the archer army because I think it's more useful.
These merchants offer to provide us with either horses or improved weapons. The choice is yours, brother.
We could either get extra scout cavalry here or free blacksmith upgrades. I think
We will scatter the cowardly rebels to the wind.
I will not sit by while the Yellow Turbans oppress the locals. Let us liberate as many as we can.
My defenses are stretched thin, but I will send any spare men to aid you if you can prove your worth. Even the best of the rebels falls like grass to my blade.
like I said, I think the second choice is a bit inconsequential. You either get some scouts or you get free blacksmith techs. I went for the blacksmith techs because I felt like not needing to have a blacksmith right away and getting immediate benefit on my soldiers was good.
From here, we will strike out at the Yellow Turbans.
We have received reinforcements from Lord Tao Chen.
Okay, so something important here is you will receive reinforcements in the form of
We have rescued some villages
in the form
from the
of
rebels.
spearmen and archers from Tao Chen, but these reinforcements won't last forever. My suggestion is to start achieving objectives as soon as possible while you have like this advantage of mass. I think if you play well, you can use only the hero units and their special abilities to win, and you don't really need too much of the army. However, if you're a more normal player like me, having masses of units is quite helpful. Our main goal here is to destroy two of the Yellow Turban hideouts, one in the east and one in the south of the map. And we can actually clear more of these villages to receive additional reinforcements. So push forward to clear these villages aggressively. You can replenish your losses much more easily.
The Yellow Turbans have summoned the magical storm to empower their soldiers. To break the spell, we must sacrifice 3 animals to the heavens: the pig, the goat, and the wolf.
So on legendary difficulty, enemies receive +3 attack until you capture the spirit animals. This can make it pretty dangerous for your town center and for your soldiers just in general, because the enemy does send a decent number of forces.
We have rescued some villages from the rebels.
My suggestion is to actively take care of these spirit animals. Once you've knocked out this side objective, most of the difficulty of this mission gets taken out, as you'll be able to fend the attacks off from the Yellow Turbans much more easily. I think while we have this lull, I'll also explain that as of the recording of this audio, I've already beaten half of Cao Cao and all of Liu Bei, and not gonna lie, I felt like this first mission was among the more difficult of the missions. So I was hoping that legendary difficulty would really feel like something. The first mission really did make it feel a bit harder than normal, at least marginally. But successive missions, especially in Cao Cao, didn't feel overly difficult. That being said, I'm not going to complain. Legendary is legendary. I am a little bit saddened because it seems like in the other campaigns, like the base game campaigns, missions like Honfoglalas, Bukhara, stuff like that, that used to be somewhat challenging, have been made a lot easier. I'm not like a ranked player by any means. I don't have superior micro at all or anything. And I was still able to clear it with very little issue, with speed that essentially prevented me from engaging with some of the mechanics of those missions, which was kind of sad. I don't mind having hard difficulties be harder, so there's that comment. As for responses to like the multiplayer edition of oops.
We have received reinforcements from Lord Tao Chen.
As we take out the pig.
We have captured a sacrificial animal.
As for the introduction of these Three Kingdoms civs to multiplayer play, alongside the other two, I think, Jurchens and Khitans, I'm always glad for more Age of Empires content. I'm not really dialed in on the multiplayer aspect. I will say, though, that thematically, it feels really weird to have the Chinese exist alongside these three civs. It's like, it's as if you'd have, I guess, like the United States as a civ, and you also have California, Texas, and like Virginia as civs. Time period wise, I also think it's a bit strange. Three Kingdom civs, I think, are like in the 300s. There's a bit of like historical timeline issues there. What's the fun term for it? It escapes my mind. Anachronism? That might not be the right word. It's been a while since I've taken the SAT. Yeah, it definitely does feel a little strange. And I know that, well, I mean, it wasn't the Three Kingdom civs, but the Khitans in particular, with the pastures alongside the rest of their bonuses, have had an unprecedentedly high win rate. So balance-wise is also tricky. That being said, I think, you know, the introduction of passives in other updates, like the Dynasties of India's updates, have also had some hiccups when initially introduced to multiplayer in terms of win rates. I know, for example, humans, I think, also seem to have a pretty high win rate.
We have rescued some villages from the rebels.
So when it comes to balance, I don't think it's that big of a deal. However, when it comes to unit feel, I definitely sympathize with people that are not really a fan. Another thing is having like trainable hero units in multiplayer is kind of...
Some of these men are fine warriors, chose to bring chaos and destruction. They sealed their own fate.
It's also a very valid concern, especially as I need to save my town center here. It's going dangerously low. Let's move our army back. I do think that adding hero units trainable in multiplayer is going to kind of alter the flavor of how Age of Empires 2 feels. That being said, you know, when it comes to civs, there's going to be a bit of a limited design space, right? You can't, like, it's not like we can just keep manufacturing large style civilizations that are super blanket, like, you know, Saracens for pretty much the entirety of the Middle East, China for the entirety of China, so on and so forth. Eventually, if you want to have like more representation, you're going to need to break it down, I guess. Either loosen timeline restrictions a bit, or loosen, I guess, civ size restrictions a little bit. And it's the same with design space. If you want civs to feel unique from each other, you know, it might be worth it to go a little bit more experimental. I don't think having big trainable hero units in multiplayer is going to be as big of a splash as people are making it out to be, especially if it's only these 3 civs. I honestly think, for example, that like the introduction of Rocket Cart might be more impactful, or like the fact that these civs don't have regular trebuchets and rely on traction trebuchets. I think just having additional angles for making civs more unique is pretty much always a good thing, even if the initial concepts don't land. It is worrying though, because if you make some like major content missteps, you can't really undo it, right? It's not like once you release this DLC and you release these civs, you can just say, you know, oops, we were gonna undo this and remove the civs, right? So I do think that adds a little bit of anxiety to the mix. As here we are moving to the west, the southwest, in order to clear out more animals.
We have received reinforcements from Lord Tao Chen.
Yeah, and here having the archer block is quite useful. Here units are tanking and the archers are killing 1 unit per volley.
We have captured the sacrificial animal.
And mainly I'm just training spearmen and archers. Spearmen are good against the scout cav, which are the main source of melee damage that the enemy is sending at us. And archers are just like a general all-purpose unit, good against enemy archers, and don't fall over to scouts as easily. And we can advance to the castle age soon as well, so I'm going to be targeting that. The initial boost of villagers from saving villages also helps massively. It really gets the ball rolling and lets you start getting military reinforcements producing from your own buildings fast. So I do recommend not skipping deliberations. They give you military units and villagers. It's quite good. Should also keep in mind that I think the civ that we're running with gets some food from chopping wood, and they have really good archers, so having wood choppers is solid and helps prop up the eco a little bit. There on the right, you can see that the enemies will also train hero units periodically. I think that guy's a fire archer. I do think, for the campaign at least, that it is nice that you can have the return of the choice making, where prior choices will affect future levels. I do think some of these choices do end up being fairly important. Not every choice is overly important. Some are only mainly for flavor, or some are only single level. But I do like the idea. This was explored in the Chronicles. And speaking of the Chronicles, I have all the videos recorded for the Chronicles. I just haven't had the time to upload them. I know it's been a really long time. We have a new DLC coming out already. So I think what I'm going to do is I will probably do the Three Kingdoms campaign uploads first. And if there's interest, I will return to the Chronicles and upload those as well. I might as well for completion's sake. Furthermore, if there's some missions that people would like to see replayed in 2025 or even later, because maybe they changed significantly or got harder, please do let me know. I've already done this for a couple that have received some pretty positive feedback. The primary example being re-recording the bugged Pasunda Bubat tragedy mission, Gajamata 5. In 2024, I believe. to actually beat it without war elephants. That seemed to impress a lot of people, so if people are looking for those kinds of videos, like replay videos, definitely do let me know. I think I have one of the last Sicilian campaign mission, because it did get faster. I do have the recording.
We have received reinforcements from Lord Tao Chen.
Look, the rebels have captured an Imperial commander. Rescuing a man of his rank could enhance your reputation. Although I must say, I do not like the look of him.
We have rescued some villages from the rebels.
喂，何种命令？正确。建筑工。
张翼德在。
Okay, and now that we're in the Castle Age, once we pick up these upgrades, we don't have any real significant fear of getting overrun here. I think the main issue is at the start, not getting overrun and being sure to be able to achieve your objectives. So it's important to use those initial Tao Chen reinforcements to properly snowball.
何种命令？
In retrospect, I did have a lot of trouble with this mission on Legendary difficulty. It might not be that it was the Legendary difficulty itself, but rather that I was rusty. Like I mentioned before, I've been getting quite busy with like real life stuff. So I don't have as much time as I used to dedicate to gaming and stuff like that. That being said, I still do really enjoy it. You know, when I uploaded the Xi'an video,
We have captured a sacrificial animal. Heaven has accepted our sacrifice and broken the enemy's spell. Let us finish off the Yellow Turbans while they are weak.
when I uploaded the Xi'an video and received
We have received reinforcements from Lord Tao Chen.
like comments on it, saying like welcome back and stuff like that, that was very touching. I really do appreciate it. It is nice to know that even though I'm just kind of doing this for fun and uploading campaign gameplays of basically stuff that I would be doing anyway, and even though the content is honestly relatively low effort, I do very minimal editing and just kind of upload my live or semi-commentated gameplay to YouTube afterwards. I'm glad that people are finding it useful.
何种命令？什么？修理？好，修理。何种命令？遵命。为行。遵命。伐木工，准备就绪。好，伐木工。准备就绪。什么？好，遵命。好，遵命。
Alright, so here we have a few more minutes left to save Dongzhuo. If you save him, I think your archer units train faster for the rest of the campaign. I don't know what happens if you kill them. I think if you kill him, units cost less gold. Those are both pretty solid. I think that like the gold ability might be more worthwhile, but it felt more in line with Liu Bei's personality to let this guy go.
如何不引脚？协力同心。
进攻。
刘玄德集资也。
什么？好，是，行，好，作战，好，攻击，行，好，关云长，何种命令？进攻，好，作战，遵命，攻击，
刘玄德不走西北。
行，是，准备就绪，进攻，行，作战，好，攻击，遵命，进攻，行，好，是，行，遵命，作战，遵命，好，攻击，好，遵命，是。 We have received reinforcements from Lord Tao Chen.
First, these Modsmith rebels took me prisoner, and now I'm rescued by Sandal Maker and his band of apprentices. Away! Away with you all! I have more important matters to attend to.
A noble choice, and a far better fate than Commander Dongzhuo deserves. I will ensure the court learns of your good deed.
什么？何种命？遵命，准备就绪，是。
Okay, and we've... simply, I knew that guy was absolutely ruthless. But he had a lot of positive qualities too. And I do think it's interesting because I think the campaign does like a slightly better job than I expected of capturing some of the nuances of his character. I am glad that he appears as both a protagonist and an antagonist, depending on which of the campaigns you're playing. I think it made it really possible to actually able to highlight like the nuances of some of these characters. It doesn't go overly deep, as I mean I honestly don't really expect AoE 2 storyline campaign storylines to go overly deep, but I did like it a lot.
We have received reinforcements from North Taochen.
攻击。何种命令？进攻。喂，行，建筑，准备就绪。什么？好，作战。准备就绪。什么？遵命。行，好，遵命。何种命令？准备就绪。是。好，遵命。何种命令？
我自去也。
建筑工。喂，好，建筑工，准备就绪。 准备就绪，好。什么？遵命。准备就绪，什么？遵命。行，好。遵命。何种命令？
Alright, so just here I'm just training some cavalry forces, melee cavalry forces to help take out buildings. The archers are eviscerating units that pop out. But it's still nice to have some melee units to take out the structures a little bit faster. Oh, yeah. Something that I think should be done is all 5 villager groups should be liberated. That lets you get some extra starting villagers in subsequent missions, so it's very worthwhile to do it. I'm at 4 out of 5. I think the last one is in the far left west corner of the map. You can see kind of the zones where, I mean, the rest of the villages are pretty close to your starting base, so making sure that you just don't forget to liberate that last village that's a little bit out of the way, and you will get that nice starting villager bonus in future levels.
建筑工，准备就绪。好，进攻。
燕人张飞德，在。
好，作战。什么？何种命令？什么？行。建筑。
And you might have noticed, if you had an apt eye, that a longswordsman just came out of that Yellow Turbans barracks, even though they're only in the feudal age. So yes, the Yellow Turbans do get stronger over time if you're not pushing them sufficiently hard enough.
什么？准备就绪。好，攻击。何种命令？是。进攻。攻击。什么？作战。二弟。
不可与你手早相随。
进攻。 准备就绪。什么？何种命令？攻击。
收拾久矣。
准备就绪。什么？准备就绪。作战。 进攻什么？好，遵命。行，好，何种命令？准备就绪。遵命。什么？遵命。行，遵命。好， 作战攻击。何种命令？是。
何种命令？正确。遵命。为好。
准备就绪，作战。什么？遵命。是。准备就绪，好，行攻击。准备就绪，什么？遵命。进攻。行遵命，好，行。攻击是
什么？建筑工。
何种命令？遵命，好，行。准备就绪，什么？
And here we're finally approaching the last village that we need to liberate.
建筑工。何种命令？行，遵命。
We have destroyed one of the Yellow Turbans' bases.
遵命。什么？行，遵命。好，遵命，遵命。行，好，进攻，遵命。行，攻击，遵命。好，遵命。好，行，作战。准备就绪，遵命，遵命。行，遵命，好，行，遵命，进攻。是。
河东人关羽。
好。行。何种命令？准备就绪。什么？
We have rescued some villages from the rebels.
You inspire us all, brother. Following this large will surely be a blessing in the future.
I thought we were supposed to lose reinforcements from Tao Qian eventually, but I guess it just never stopped.
准备就绪。何种命？ 遵命。
Maybe it's because we performed well. I don't know.
行，遵命。遵命。行，好。遵命。
什么？何种命令？建筑工。
何种命令？什么？建筑工。
准备就绪。行。好。好。遵命。作战。什么？
刘玄德在。欢迎长单骑却便来。
遵命。好。
We have received reinforcements from Lord Tao Qian.
好，进攻。
Ah, yes, and I guess I should have mentioned it earlier, but I did find it strange that the first playthrough of the intro cinematic was different than subsequent playthroughs. This recording will have the subsequent recording, or the subsequent cinematic, because I kind of checked out the intro before recording and I didn't realize it was going to be different. The first intro has like a much longer exposition than future playthroughs, so I do apologize I didn't capture that. But there was no precedent for it, so I just didn't expect it to happen. I don't think it's a huge deal. I'm sure you'll be able to see it on other channels.
遵命。好，何种命令？行。
河东人关羽。
燕人张飞。
什么？修理工。好。准备就绪。
什么？好，进攻作战，遵命。行，攻击，遵命。好，是，遵命。作战，遵命。是，好，进攻。好，行，攻击，遵命。好，进攻。行，好，是，遵命。遵命。攻击，行，好，作战，遵命。行，攻击。
准备就绪。
何主命令？确。
准备就绪。
喂。何主命令？
何种命令？准备就绪。行。
Alright, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you all in the next one.
遵命。好。
不坏藩国一心。
准备就绪。
We have destroyed one of the Yellow Turbans' bases. The rebels are surrendering. This is a great victory for us all, my brothers.
Though fierce as tigers soldiers be, battles are won by strategy. A hero comes, he gains renown, already destined for a crown. The Yellow Turbans proved no match for the determined brothers. With the rebellion crushed, the newly promoted Liu Bei seemed destined for a quick rise to the ranks. But the corruption of the court proved that a vain hope. At the time, local leaders would often extort their subjects to bribe the palace eunuchs. Not long after Liu Bei's victory, an officer came to collect his blood money, but the honorable Liu Bei had no coin to give. This sent the official into a rage. Liu Bei had to stay Zhang Fei's hand, lest he kill the man on the spot. Liu Bei would receive no gratitude from the court for his achievements. Though hard to accept, this truth only strengthened his resolve. To restore the Han, he would root out political corruption, tendril by black tendril. A more immediate threat had surfaced, an enemy that threatened to undo the very empire Liu Bei hoped to save. The great usurper, Cao Cao.
What?